Welcome to Tuesday Tink and Tonic. Get my guy Easy Clarke on here.
There he is. What's good, bro?
Yeah,
Tuesday, Tink and Tonic.
I've finally been able to do it in its original inception. I have my gin and tonic. This is how I imagined it.
There
Not
you
you
go.
drinking, but just me. And for those that don't know, if you're looking to gift your boy, I'm a huge fan of gin. Please, I'll take all different types of gin. I love gin, and Tink and Tonic is a play on gin and tonic. If you didn't know that, there's also I'll explain what the tonic means someday, but not right now. Anyway, cheers, bro.
All right.
Happy
Keep
Tuesday.
him waiting. Cheers.
Two drinks of then Lipton tea, beet juice.
No, I am drinking the passion potion. Cayenne, ginger, apple cider vinegar. That stuff, man. Get me all cleared up. I'm on shoot, I didn't even really count, but I'm on day 5 or 6 of juicing. Of just clearing myself. Maintenance. That's maintenance. That's all it is.
Damn, I think I might be
I
on
might break it today. Go ahead.
day 2 or 3 of not following my juice fast.
You're a fool.
It's been hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's been
It
too
is
much
difficult. If
Yeah.
it was easy, actually, it could be easy if we started off not being addicts in the first place, because we are addicts. We are. I got a buddy of mine right now on a juice feast, and we talk a little bit more than I would normally, just chopping up game and whatnot. And so he's on day 5 or 6, and we were just chopping it up about the juice feast. And he was being real honest about all the struggles he's facing and going through, and just like the takeaway is just how mind blown he was, and just how difficult it is to deviate from normal American diet. Like, just how difficult it is to not think about food, to be that clear, because it's like the context is not conducive to us living an ideal lifestyle, right? We all know this to be true. If it was an ideal lifestyle, we would actually not be doing juice feasting. We'd actually be doing water fasting. Ideal.
Yeah.
But
I did it. Fuck that. But okay.
and when you look at it, we're in a well, you say that now because we've never been in an ideal. Well, you had the opportunity to be, but you was living good, so it's all good.
I mean, in all fairness, I said I wouldn't do a water fast, but I've also said I wouldn't do any of the things I've already done. You know what I mean? Like, as you're talking about your friend doing the juice fast, like I remember when I did the fruit fast, and everybody thought I was crazy, and that was the first time I realized how hard it is, like social interactions, like all these different things. I remember you text me all the time about like, yo, dude, like how you going, like to help me stay on track. I don't know if I was always thinking about food or if you were able to text me as soon as I was thinking about food, because I would safely say like from around 8 p.m. to go into bed. I used to be like looking at food menus online. Like I'd be staring at some chicey pork or like, damn, I really miss food. It's only been a week, but it gets way easier. Like I found that juice feast are like much easier to do just because the juice is so like nutrient dense and I actually don't get that hungry. Like it's, I think, true satiety. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. Like you eat food, like you get full, but you're not like satisfied. You know, in a very, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. You don't get the feeling that you're used to.
Mm.
Okay, so it's not a question of you being satisfied. It's that what you're used to, it doesn't feel like that. So your mind, and let's keep in mind here that most, if not all, of our problems. Let me venture out here and say all. exists right here, right? So it's your body is telling you your body is telling you that this person is out here to destroy your life and you need to fight them with everything you've got, when really that's not the case. Your body is telling you need food so bad because you're gonna die if you don't get it pretty soon, when truly that's not the case. Your mind, sorry, let me phrase that. Your mind is telling you all of this nonsense, right? And the same thing when you come to like we talk about parasympathetic system as it pertains to, for example, fight or flight during like relationships or arguments or whatnot, right? We behave immediately as if like the world has come into an end, or we have a buffalo chasing us, or we have a horse chasing us, or we're about to like die, when truthfully we could just breathe and stand up and realize we're not actually dying. All right, because remember your first meal. Oh, also point this out. You did your juice feast after you did your fruit feast.
Yeah, it's definitely a progression, bro. It's a progression because the first week of the juice, no lie, we did the juice feast multiple times, to be fair, because we did the raw one, and that
But
was
you
okay.
did fruit. You did fruit before you did
No,
juice.
before, like early last year, we did the week. Doug and I did the week
Ah, you did a week.
where we like it was just raw food. So like that was like the first like time, and then the second time we did the fruit fruit feast for a month. And that one was hard as well because like I was going out hanging out with friends and just eating watermelon and shit. But yeah, you definitely have to like progress through them in order to do it. The only reason I never did juice feast sooner was because I didn't have a juicer. But safe to
That's
say,
what I remember. Okay, got it.
investing in a juicer was probably one of the like better investments I've made. Like,
Bro. That's so much money though. What, I mean, it's so expensive. Like, why'd you do that?
yeah,
Why'd you get a juicer? It's so weird. You're so rich.
as people
Why
say,
would
there
you
are
do
cheaper
that?
juicers out there, but them cheaper juicers don't give you enough juice, bro. You'd be starting to waste money after a while. You'd be juicing a whole celery and getting like 2 drops. So, but yeah, no, juicing, yeah, something I don't regret. Like I went to visit my girlfriend this weekend and I had like a trolley bag, and that's just because I packed the juicers. It's like, you know what, I'm trying to skip a whole week of juicing right now. We've been going too good. So yeah.
It's craziness, man. Craziness. If you are interested in juicing, really taking your health to the next level, and not just taking your health to the next level, or not just that, but improving your mental state, improving your emotional state, improving every aspect of life. This is the portal. Anything you can't fast controls you. Point blank, period.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I also want to like, there's something you told me for I mean most people on this won't know, but like I was struggling with I'm calling mental health issues, but like a lot of anxiety and like lack of focus and all these things. And I talked about going to the doctor to see, make sure, very American way. Let me get some drugs to help me out. And one thing you told me was yes, those things can help, but they don't like fix the core of the problem. And sometimes it's just yes, you've tried something, but maybe you haven't tried enough of that thing. So yes, I ate healthy and yes, I worked out, but maybe I wasn't eating healthy enough. Maybe I wasn't working out enough, or maybe I wasn't doing these things enough. And it really was a balance. Yes, I did go to the doctor to get help, but that's also when I decided to buy the juicer, just to do more of enough. To juice more, to eat more fruits and more plants and less, like a lot less meat or processed foods. And I can safely say since then, like my anxiety is stabilized for the most part. I also drink a ton of chamomile tea, not that that helps, but my anxiety is stable, but stabilized. My performance, like my skin has cleared up. Little things like that I started noticing. Things became easier. So yeah, sometimes people were just not doing enough of what we were supposed to do. Maybe this much broccoli or this much lettuce is not enough lettuce. Maybe you need this much, and that's actually everybody needs that much. That's not even a recommendation. You should just eat a bowl of that shit.
Are you saying that I can't drink one glass of juice? and get all these benefits you're talking about?
Nah, bro, I don't think you can drink one glass. You need like
Word.
half a gallon minimum.
I can't tell you um how many folks will drink one glass of juice, or they might even do a whole day of juice and be like, oh, well, that was nice. Back to normal eating now, right? I was on my first fruit feast I was on. I remember I was visiting a friend of a friend of a friend of a distant friend. I was visiting, and mom was like, oh man, your skin looking great. Like, like just all of these like compliments, which made me feel a little uncomfortable to be very honest. But it's like, man, your skin and everything looking great. Da, da. And this was like that peak of my juice, my fruit feasting, right?
I'm gonna keep it PG because I was now about to like claim a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, maybe not right now. I was gonna say that.
All right, don't get us fired.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't get us fired. So she does all this, and then later on, we were all eating burgers and whatnot, and somebody like was like, "Oh, he's not gonna eat. He's doing this thing." She was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Have you seen a doctor? Are you gonna get checked out?" Like it literally switched from "Wow, you look great" to "You're clearly doing something great" to like concern. To like, are you gonna be all right? Like, do you need to go see a doctor? That experience was so baffling to me and so eye-opening to me, and I'm just like, oh wow, got it. So you saw all these benefits, you saw all these things you like, you saw all this stuff, right? We chatting it up, whatever. As soon as you realize that I'm not eating the normal diet, you get concerned. If I don't tell you how brainwashed we are, I don't know what is.
There's a flip side too that people want you to buy in so that they feel comfortable with their choices as well. I can't tell you how many times I've been out and choosing not to do something. And we're talking about food, but this relates to like everything. And people that are doing that thing like are trying to pressure you to do it so that they feel more comfortable doing it in front of you. It has nothing to do with what's beneficial to you, what's healthy, like what's right. It's just that I want to feel comfortable making my choices, and you not making the same choices as me makes me very uncomfortable. Or makes me feel bad and start to rethink my choices. So, okay, I want a salad and you want a burger. I'm not going to tell you not to eat your burger, but also don't try to pressure me to eat your burger or to eat your food or to overstuff myself just because you're doing that, and you'd feel more comfortable if I do that too.
There's no question that's definitely a parallel track that's going down in their minds over what's happening as humans. And what I'm saying is, let's pause and think about that. Let's hit the pause button, hit the brakes real quick, and just think about that. Because what we talk about, bro, what I focus on, what I talk about is things that make life easier that we weren't taught. 20% of things to do to get 80% of results. Things in school that we should have been taught that we haven't been taught, right? One of those things is that the people around you are going to behave like that. So when they tell you, hey, listen, you should go get a loan and get that car because that's what I did and it worked out so well for me, even though I hate my life. We got to think about that, bro. This is real stuff. Like real people are really, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like too blunt here, but like this is real. That's how I made all my financial mistakes early on coming out of college and before college, because people around me that I trusted were just like, oh, that's just how it is. That's just normal, right? And I appreciate what you said, because I think that's probably a bigger piece of the pie, is that I now am forced, because of what you're doing, I now am forced to look in the mirror and re-examine what I'm doing.
Looking at myself makes me uncomfortable. Looking inward and really like being accountable to yourself, to nobody else really, it's very uncomfortable. My family and people I know like call me an asshole all the time. sometimes I stop and really think, and the truth is, I'm comfortable with the things I do. I believe the choices I make are good for me and based on fact and education and stuff like that. So I never deviate. I have confidence, but if you haven't stopped and really looked inward and tried to change yourself and make decisions that are properly in line with where you want to be or what you want to do, there are probably a lot of situations that are going to make you really uncomfortable, and that's just
No
because you have
question.
firm foundation in self.
No question.
Everything builds on top your personal view of yourself and where you want to go. And accountability is hard. That extreme ownership is difficult.
It
But
is difficult. It is
I also,
difficult.
I also know I saw my mom on here, and I remember last week we talked about. I mean, we're talking about health in general. We did mention that we do a little talk on meditation, and I don't want to pivot from nutrition and everything to mental. Like, how do you? What's the how do you take care of your mind in some ways? But meditation is something that I'm very passionate about, and I partly relate to some of the things, the conversations we had at Tufts that made me look at meditation more soundly. What's been your experience?
In terms of meditation and what the benefits, or like how we go about it, or
Yeah, how
all
it
of the
relates
above.
to health on a whole. On a whole, I mean
It's all
that's
connected, man.
a part of health. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to, ignore, or just like food, they want the results tomorrow. They think if they use headspace or meditate today, they're supposed to be calm and zen like tomorrow. Just like they think they drink one juice, they're gonna solve all their problems next week and lose 10, 20 pounds of fat.
Dude, there's before I talk specifically about meditation, there's only 7 notes, right? There's only like 7 major, what is it, colors of the rainbow? It's probably 7. I don't know. It's probably close to
Roy G.
7,
Biv?
right? Well, how many colors in the rainbow? 6 or
Yeah,
7?
Roy G. Biv. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but what number is that? With 6, 7, 7. There we go. There we go. Right? There's 7 notes. Right? There's 7 fundamental primal patterns. These patterns that we see, my point is that there's probably only like 7 of them. Right? You described one of them, which is, oh shoot, it's uncomfortable for me to look at myself, so thus I'm gonna bombard you with things or do whatever it is for me to regain my comfortability, right? And I think it's really interesting for us to pay attention to, actually, because if you are taking on a new journey, if I'm taking on a new journey, if I'm taking on a financial journey, a health journey, or whatever journey, expect those 7 patterns. Expect people to look at you that way. Expect that to happen. Expect people to ask you your presence. And relating back to the meditation question, that allows you to clear your mind enough that you're not, that all that noise that's going on that's causing you to doubt yourself, to ask you to feel, because nobody can make you feel anything, but you're caught, that feeling is coming here because these words push a trigger or a button, and most of that stuff is noise. I also want to say this, man. I think and I'm looking for my book over here to see if it's close by. I think that in Western culture, bro, which is where my introduction to all this stuff was, right, is through Western culture, has completely taken these things and treated it just like they did with plants, which is they took plants, extracted the most potent portions of it, and made it something else. Or extract is like taking all the honey, all the goodness out, and you know what?
They took it 20% out?
No, they took 100% and made it into concentrate, right? As if we're supposed to. That is the end all be all. Taking it from the entire holistic approach. My whole point is that meditation, nutrition, all of these things, yoga. Let me focus on meditation and yoga. We've removed them from a context and brought it over here. To even be in a place to start practicing meditation or practicing yoga with a guru, with an expert, with a high-level teacher, you have to have years, maybe decades of training, physical training, mental training, all types of training, up to a certain point, before you even earn the privilege to start practicing those things. But Western culture has extracted that, and you got everybody and their grandma walking down the street doing yoga and meditation. My man, Dr. Shiva, explains this in Your Body, Your System, where he talks about this very phenomenon where we're treating things as if they're a simple system rather than treating things as they're an intelligent system. And an intelligent system, you can't extract the head from the body and expect the body to function correctly. You can't extract the heart from the body and expect the heart to function properly. It just doesn't work that way. It has. So I think what we're getting over here is very beneficial. Take part in it or whatnot. But you're having one session of yoga and you stop because you don't see benefits. You're having one session of meditation, you stop because you don't see benefit. Consider that to even have that be available to somebody who's studying this in the context that it actually comes from. They had years and years and years and years of physical training to even get themselves to that position to be able to have that privilege. Years and years and years of other training, of apprenticeship, of all types of work to prime the body to the point where you, or the mind and the spirit to the point where you can have access to these things.
Oh no, go on, bro. You're speaking from the heart there. I couldn't chime in. I didn't want to get steamrolled.
Yeah, no worry, but what and I'm saying just consider that. Consider that we're getting a taste of this medicine. And it takes time. Like everything else, it takes time. What you do consistently is what's going to get you though. It's what makes this up. Right.
I would build off of that. It takes time. I mean, I meditate now almost daily, most days for 20 to 30 minutes. I've done like an hour before. If times are hard, I do 10 minutes, but it also took me 2013, 14, 8 years to get there. So to build up on like what you said about it takes time, that you're supposed to do all these other things beforehand, it tracks. It didn't really start benefiting me until like 4 or 5 years in. That's how long it took to even get to the 15-minute mark. You know, like it was hard at 5 minutes. It was hard at 10 minutes. It was hard at 15 minutes. It's literally never been easy. And which is one of those things you have to keep going at. Like I know a lot of people that want to introduce it to their day at the beginning of the day, or they'll start and they'll do a 30-day challenge and not really notice all the benefits at once. And it's just one of those things that after like 4 years of doing it, then hitting it consistently every day for like 5-6 months, and then after a while of that alignment between your mind and body, you can feel the difference. So there are days I would stop and tell somebody, I need to meditate right now. They'd be like, why? I don't understand why you need to. And you won't be able to feel that need unless you've experienced that clarity, you know? And the same way in yoga, like, you'll know, like, I need to stretch right now. And there are people walking around all day that never stretch, so they'll be like, what are you talking about? But unless you've felt what a really stretched muscle is and you consistently do that, you won't understand or feel when the system's crowded.
Yeah, just like if you've been
I paused Elizabeth to 1 hour, but I mean, I just started doing it by myself in my bedroom for an hour, which is a lot.
Everybody has a grandma or grandpa or uncle or cousin who's done something that's exceptional to what I'm saying or what you're saying. So that's always the case. You know what I'm saying? I always expect somebody to know somebody that's the exception, right? But the thing of the matter is, if I meditate by myself, I meditate with you, versus I meditate with a guru from India or something, like, very different experience, right? It's a very, very different experience. There's levels to this. All right. And what I'm saying is, these understand or seek guidance as to like the bigger picture of how this fits, all right? As opposed to like, oh, I don't want any of the struggle. I want all the rewards. That's really kind of what it is. I don't want any of the struggle. I don't want any of that. I just want the good stuff, right? Give me just the good stuff. The good stuff doesn't come without the bad stuff. It's not possible.
It's all in the process. Is that the saying? I forgot what the saying is. It's like the process. It's like it's not the end result, or it's not where you're going. It's the journey. Like
all of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
I only enjoy meditation because I've struggled so hard to get it going, to be completely honest. Yeah, it's beneficial. I like it. But every time I do it, I also remember how long it took me to get there. To like so whatever, you know.
And it shows up everywhere. Everywhere. I want these muscles, but you know what? Where's the shortcut to it? I don't really want this DOMS pain. I don't really
30 days to ripped. No.
It's craziness. Hey, I'm the #1 guilty person for this, by the way. I just want to say, I speak the way I speak because I want you to be healed and feel great and fantastic. However, that does not mean I'm speaking from a place of complete perfection. That does not exist.
All right, pause. How would you, I'll talk about meditation, but how would you, with all your training and everything, how would you get, I mean, you actually do this, but how would you get somebody onto the right path of building the right habits? Like, how would you, what would you go about telling somebody? I mean, I know what
I would first and foremost need to know the context. So I would ask a ton of questions to know the context of what's going down. Where have you been? Where are you now? Where are you trying to go? Give me the entire context. When you go to a doctor and you say, doctor, this has been happening for blah, blah, blah. The doctor immediately say, and maybe terrible example, sometimes they do, right? Good ones. What do? They ask questions. How long have you been feeling that way? Is it acute? Is it chronic? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Okay, cool. Why? Because we're narrowing in. We got to look at the entire context of what's happening. So I truly don't have a general example besides get started and get coaching. Get started and get a teacher. If your teacher first and foremost is a book, great. If your teacher first and foremost, it would be ideal if you can grab an individual who you can bounce off of, like you can't a book. I read lots of books. I love books. But at the end of the day, I've read books that didn't get me anywhere. Right? I needed that person. I needed that individual to bounce off of, to correct, to right? Like a GPS. I prefer a GPS. Put in the destination, and even if I get lost, I know it's going to recalibrate for me. So I don't have a general answer.
Any comments? Everyone say what you've been struggling for a while. By the way, to the 3-4 people that are on right at this moment live. That's a lie. But, yeah. That's a good point, bro. Now you've made me rethink what I would tell somebody to do. So, you know,
there's no shortcut. There is no
there's literally
bam,
no shortcut.
Right?
Yeah.
But you do know the areas. We do know there are again, 7 areas. Right? You do know the areas, so we know where to get started. Hey, what's good, Miles? We do know where to get started.
I did start with a Deepak Chopra meditation, and I never made it to the 21 consistent days. Well, I did it once after years, but you know, in the beginning, I made it for 4 or 5 days and had to restart and then go to 8 and then restart. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not a daily consistent person. I'm more of a monthly to yearly consistent person. Anyway.
All good. It's all good. But specifically meditation, I'd say it sure, but it also kind of applies across the board, right? Whether you're talking about meditation, nutrition, movement, water, name them, all the 7 primal needs. I'd say the same thing, right? The simple example of get 8 hours of sleep, 8 glasses of water, 8 da-da-da-da. Yeah, you only need 8 glasses of water if you're eating mostly dehydrated foods, right? That's the purpose of having that recommendation there. You need 8 hours of sleep, but if you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep of being just in a terrible state where you're not actually entering REM sleep, who cares? It doesn't matter at all. There's plenty of people that operate off of 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep, but it's the quality of sleep. So I'm not about here to tell somebody, get 8 hours of sleep. what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? I'll go in there and lift weights this way. I could get you, I mean, I've had plenty of clients that have lost anywhere from 20, 25, 30, 35 pounds in 30 days just juicing, never touching weights, never stepping a foot in the gym. Right? So it's just kind of like very contextual, very, very contextual. So I'll leave you guys with this. Your body, your system. This is probably like one of the most intelligent dudes I have ever read on talking about systems and systems engineering, because this entire thing here is a system. All right, and we need to figure out how that system functions. My challenge is finding the time to balance it all when it gets hectic. 1 hour hours are too much. I also just do too much, etc.
And also just don't do 1 hour workouts.
Right. So here we go. Contextual, right? Why 1 hour workouts? What are you trying to fit in? What are you trying to balance? See, I would say maybe shift from like balancing and like try to fit it into like harmony, right? And priority, right? So you know what changes? Your schedule will change very quickly if the doctor tells you, hey, if you walk around tomorrow, you're going to drop dead unless you do X, Y, and Z. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to do X, Y, and Z. You will find something within that schedule to move to get you doing X, Y, and Z. So we got to think about it that way in terms of prioritizing. Like, what is the goal? Is the goal to work out an hour a day, or is the goal to be healthy? Because if the goal is to be healthy, there are tons of ways to do that without an hour a day of workout.
That's a good point. I mean, you're following those workout videos that fluctuate in length, but it also sounds like that doesn't work for you. So why would you continue trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, you know? That's what John's saying, like, find the harmony. Maybe it's something else. Maybe you have to rethink, but what your health
talk to somebody.
Yeah, or talk to somebody, a coach that could effectively give you a workout in maybe a short amount of time, or do less, or spread it out,
or look at your entire situation, right? What you're doing with 24 hours, what you're doing within a week, and say, hey, listen, you actually don't need to do this because, I don't know, maybe you're a nurse and you walk for 12 hours of your shift. You probably don't need to do an hour workout every day. If you know what I mean? There's a lot of variables and factors. Do you need to wrap this up here? Yeah, just get into a routine and veering away from it causes too much chaos.
That's a good point. It also sounds like everything you're experiencing is like kind of John's point about it's happening in your head, not in like reality, you know? Prioritize. Oh, actually, that's a lie. Reality is that it's causing chaos. Fair enough. But
no, that you're right the first time. I think I agree with you for your first comment, which is, but we don't actually experience pain right here. We experience pain here.
I will also say reframing. I had this talk with myself, like I often do. It was like a period of realization last week, where I was thinking like very often through my life, I haven't been like chubby and everything. I've been like, I have to work out. I have to do these things because if I don't do these things, X, Y, and Z consequences. I'm going to get fat again. I'm not going to feel good. And then like one of the things I had to realize is that I don't have to do those things. I get to do those things. I get to make myself feel better. I don't have to go work out for an hour. I just have to move or stretch to feel my best. And I get to make myself feel as good as I want to. Of course, working out and doing a lot of things feel good, but I can't do it every day. So maybe I 2 minutes of it, 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it is better than 0 minutes of it, you know? So some mornings I wake up and I'm feeling rushed and I say, nah, bro, take care of yourself. And I'll do like a 10 minutes, like push-ups and stretch or whatever. And I feel great after because then you're like, no matter what, I'm putting in the time. It's often great when I could carve out like the full amount of time necessary, but at the end of the day, it's why are you doing what you do? Are you know, how are you thinking about it? Is it that you're making yourself guilty and like putting pressure on yourself because if you don't do an hour, you're not doing enough, and like you're down on yourself because you're not getting it in, and then everything veers off of things, or are you just trying to feel good? And, you're trying to make yourself be better. Maybe, in the future, do you feel better after? What's the point of doing it if it's not improving you to a certain extent, Do you trust the process? Yeah.
I think we can end right there, brother. I think we can end right there. Beautiful, beautiful. Bottom line is be gracious with yourself. There's a million ways to do this, but there's really only like 7 factors. Life is actually really boils down to like, I'll stick to that number, to 7 things, right? So appreciate y'all.
Pause. I will end it on this. I read this thing that says when you're like something that you're beating yourself up hard on, look in the mirror and repeat this phrase. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And thank you. To yourself in the mirror. Just repeat that till you feel better.
Love it, brother. Thank you guys for joining Tuesday Tink and Tonic, where we talk about real life stuff. And just hop on here to dish some game and also to interact with you guys. So we'll be back next Tuesday with the same thing, and hit both of us up with any comments, questions, and suggestions for topics for moving forward. So we'll see you next week on Tuesday Tink and Tonic. We're out.